How's it going, everyone? I am here to mess about with Dungeons and Dragons, and I presume you are here to join me. If you are here for any other purpose, well, you're welcome to hang out anyway. Maybe you just want to have someone talk quietly at you for an hour and a bit, or maybe you tried to go to a different channel whose name is like mine. Scanny Ghost, Adam Kobold. I don't know. Whatever reason, I'm going to be spending the next little while drinking tea, talking about D&D.
Have returned.
Doing that thing. Dunyan, hello, welcome back. And you're going to join me. And so we're going to work on... Hi, Penguin. Welcome back. We're going to work on 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons today. And I'm going to be doing some modifications to the system of D&D. We're going to be hacking the mechanisms of the game. Particularly, we're going to be hacking the mechanisms of rewarding experience points to our players. I'm going to take a brief look through the current hacks and modifications that I've put into Dungeons & Dragons to catch us up with Court of Swords. The chances of getting spoiled on Court of Swords are pretty high, though we're at the beginning of, I don't even want to call it it's not a new arc, it's not a new season or series, like it's going to be episode, 51, but it's a new time. Let's call it a patch. People have been calling it a patch, so we're going to be talking about patch notes for Court of Swords, which uses 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. So, yeah, we're gonna take a look at the places where I am and am not willing to mess with D&D. We're going to try to re-answer Jared's questions about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're gonna figure out what we can and need to change to help Court of Swords be more like the game we would like to be playing. So, I mean, I'll say this from the get-go. We're not here to change D&D in any fundamental or deep, powerful way, right? I do not want to not play D&D anymore for this campaign. I like D&D for this campaign. I think we're going to stick with it. I like some of the things that we're doing. Fundamentally, Court of Swords is still about exploring and getting into dangerous trouble. It's a world of monsters and magic, gods and spells. I just want to nudge the players in a different direction, and I want to make the world a little bit more. I don't want to say I want to make it easier. We're not toning the difficulty down. I just want to disconnect advancement from combat, which we can do. We can do this. I believe in it. But let's review first. Let's review the changes that I've made to 5th edition first. And then we can talk about what else there is to do. So, what have I changed so far? So in the game, and I wrote this back before Volos came out, races and classes, I've made some changes to what you can and can't be. No elves, no warlocks. Genasi are an option. Some of the races from Volos. Yeah. And I think if you want to see an example, of character creation and see all the character options that are available, you can watch Zeke's character creation over on his channel. Yeah. As for the specifics of these things, elves in this game are called Farang. They're mysterious. They fit somewhere between the Skaven and the Protoss in my setting. which is, I get, super weird. And there are no warlocks because warlocks tap into a non-fountain based magical power. And so I don't want the players to be able, they're an enemy situation. Yeah, between the sewers and the stars. Exactly. So in alignment, I've replaced standard alignment. Alignment is about the elemental sign you were born under. So this isn't, your alignment is not your character's moral outlook or ethical stance on the world. It is the way that the elements were present during your birth, and the signs that lead to your particular behavioral assumptions. So you might be born under the sign of fire, air, water, earth, or under the sign of the void. The void is very rare. Yeah. So this has come to change. So it actually, I'm gonna remove it. You can't change your alignment. This is a sign under which you were born. So I'm gonna make that note. Your alignment is the sign under which you were born, and as a known cultural element of the dominant cultures of the world, though not all. So if someone wanted to play someone who was from a deeply different place, I might allow them a different take on their alignment. Instead of the elements, they might be animals, right? You might be born under the sign of the wolf, the sign of the ox, a more sort of traditionally like Chinese zodiac, right? The sign of the scorpion. But for now, the predominant culture is this. And yeah, your alignment is static. It is part of your soul. So when your soul was first separated from the fountain, it was given an aspect, and that will always be true. If you were born in fire, you will always be fire. Now you can be a fire, but act like an air or water. It's just like the zodiac in that it's very low grade supernatural, like true. Make sense? Alignment in this is the same as alignment in D&D. That's just how it do. It is or isn't a factor. It's not actually that important mechanically, but we can talk about ways in another session, ways we might want to mess with this, because inspiration needs a total rehaul. So for right now, the way I was doing it is that instead of the bullshit for inspiration that exists on the character sheet, we're using drive and history. So you further your drive, charge inspiration, illustrate your history, charge inspiration. But a lot of this is going to get roped into what we are building today or what we're finalizing today. So yeah, I don't think this works anymore. So drive and history are sort of irrelevant in the face of goals. So I'm going to rehash this. For now, I think I'll just hand out inspiration for like cool RP, right? And then I'll figure out how I want to offer inspiration later. Bonds are bonds associated by the tarot, which is another thing I'd like to rehash. I think we're good with like what it is generally, right? But I would like the players to use it more. Now, I know part of this is them forgetting, right, that it exists. But also, I would like it easier for them to... you guys need a slightly bigger version of the text? Okay. How's that? But what I really need is for something that will be easier for them to remember. I want them to be able to remember it, and I want it to be inherent to the tarot. I want it to be part of the tarot. So this is where the tarot stuff comes in. So it needs a gentle adjustment. For factions and influence, this exists, but none of the characters have lasted long enough. And these are just examples. I would love to do I would love to do more faction and influence stuff. Oh, and this actually occurs to me that I should start up another subsection. So there are factions that they could gain influence with, and they can build up that stuff. We haven't really seen it in the game, but maybe this arc, maybe it's something that they would like to attach themselves to. The other thing that I wanted to add in here is economy and investment. So in oops. In the Nightmares Underneath, I believe that's what it's called. I always get the name wrong. In Nightmares Underneath, underneath, good job, Adam. There are subsystems for inflation based on PC spend, as well as options to boost NPC-driven like businesses and organizations. Use those more or less. So if you're interested in Nightmare Underneath, it's a really good OSR style role-playing game by Johnstone Metzger, who's a Vancouver game designer. You can get it for free. There's a free edition, and it has some quite cool things. And the best part about the Nightmares Underneath. Yeah, I was right. The best thing I think about the OSR is that you can steal bits and pieces of those games and hack them into other games quite easily. It's pretty modular. So I'm using those, and I have been for a while. So I'd like the PCs to know that they can spend. I've got the PDF here. Let me summarize the inflation stuff you've seen already, but let me talk a little bit about what this means in terms of investment in the game. So in Nightmares Underneath, wherever I put that in my folders here. This is I have a problem with my arrangement of these things because for some reason I have an OSR folder, but Nightmares is not in it, which makes me feel like a disorganized goof. Here we go. Nightmares Underneath. So in this game, you can take your money and you can dump it into other things besides gear, because that's a problem with D&D, and it has always been a problem with D&D of too much money and not much to do with it. So in between adventures, you can create institutions. That's what they're called. So you can invest in social structures, noble institutions. Once you spend 100 gold on an institution, it becomes notable. Sorry, notable. If you put more money into it, they become significant at 1,000. And if you put 10,000 gold into it, it becomes exceptional. And so these things build up. And then you can use them to buy specific goods. You can provide information, specific services. They can protect your reputation and then give you access to hirelings. So some examples are like investing in a bank, a criminal gang, a library, a sanatorium, a smithy. So the idea here is that you invest your gold, and then the gold can give you other things. And if the characters are going to be staying in the City of Brass for a while, this sort of thing is important. And the reason why inflation matters is because if you bring 1,000 gold into a town, everyone is going to try to screw you out of your money because they're like, oh, they have a ton of money. Yeah, a potion. I know it was 50 gold yesterday. Now it's 250 gold. You have the money, don't you? So it's just a way to make that economy part of the game. And if you want to see the exact details of the system, for investing money in and inflation and stuff, buying and selling, it's all in Nightmares Underneath in Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Nightmares Underneath. Yeah, so that's a thing. So I'll make a note here. Chapter 4, TNU. Okay. Resting in armor this is my current rule for it. But I understand there's going to be revisit when Xanathar is available. So that's a thing that we need to do. I need to come back and check that out. There's going to be a rule there, so I'll just adapt that rule because it's going to be better playtested than anything I did. We've modified the hold action multi attack. I think we'll stick with this for right now. These are combat rules that I don't know, maybe will be less important. I'm not super concerned about messing with them. And then grenades was a rule that we added because there was no rule for that. So checking a grenade at a target. So none of that is really what we're here to talk about today. Today we're here to finalize my plans for goal-based experience. So welcome to the real part of the stream. This is the real shit here. So what is my goal in building this experience system? I want to de-incentivize combat, and I want to incentivize exploration and specific goals and quests for the players. So we're going to take away encounter-based experience altogether. So no more encounter-based XP. If you fight something for no reason, you're not rewarded for it. That's the plan. So in its place, goal and quest-based XP. A goal is a player set objective. A quest is an NPC or GM. I guess it would be NPCs you get them from. An NPC or faction set objective. Goals apply to individual players. Quests apply to the entire group. That is the only way to get experience. Achieving your goals.
Our illustrious champion returns.
Achieving quests, like completing quests, or resubscribing to my channel with Twitch Prime, like Kazark just did. Good job, Kazark. You leveled up to level 33. So, goal-based experience. Each character has 3 goal slots, which can be filled with a goal to be achieved. Such as, I will discover an artifact proving that the Farang exist. I will convince the local police captain that the House of the Falcon was haunted by a vampire. I will free myself from my bonds of slavery. I will kill the dragon that lurks in darkness. I will... Right, so these are goals. These are goals that the characters can have. You can have 3 of them at any given time. And that's fine. Those are your goal slots. You fill them with a goal. The GM assesses, and this is the weakest part of the whole design, but it's a design in progress. We got to play test this. The GM assesses the difficulty of the goal and assigns it a category. Like a category. One of these 4 categories. Easy. These are going to sound familiar. Medium, hard, or deadly. The players... should I tell them? I don't know. Maybe. Let's put this in brackets because we're going to work this out. So, the players know the difficulty? They don't? I haven't decided. I don't, they don't know what I know. I'm assessing the difficulty. Assign as a category based on narrative likelihood. They'll succeed. Obstacles in the way. Welcome back, Kirigor. Etc. So I have to eyeball this for now, which I don't really, I want to build myself some more stuff around this, but I don't know. We'll figure this out. I probably shouldn't tell them how difficult it is. That's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning towards them not knowing, because I want them to figure it out. I want them to be able to build up stuff to achieve the goal without making the goal. The goals will not get easier once they're set. But what will happen, so goal, category of the goal is equated to an XP value. We'll talk about this. I've got a specific table. Achieving the goal means getting the XP. Same goes for quests, but the XP is split among the party. The difficulty is similarly adjusted, and yeah, and the source is external. You know, go to the Tower of Hell's Fury and kick the wizard in his butt, etc. Right? Just like quest log shit. So that's the base of it there, right? This is the new base model of how the characters get XP. And what I need to work out is a few of the little details, like how much experience things are worth. So here's the thing. Let's look at what tools we have available, because looking at what we've got means we might not have to hack too deeply. Too greedily and too deep. So I guess this is a good point. Attempting to accomplish a goal or quest and failing means no XP. Too bad. You failed. This is not a failure. This is not an XP for failing model. Like, that's just too bad. Like, I'm sorry. If you abandon your goal, sorry, like that's too bad for you. So let's take a look at what is available in the what's available in the system. So the closest thing we have is milestones. So I'm going to just read what D&D calls milestone XP, and then we can bend and hack away from there. So you can award XP when characters complete significant milestones. When preparing your adventure, designate certain events or challenges as milestones, as with the following examples: accomplishing one in a series of goals necessary to complete the adventure, discovering a hidden location or piece of information relevant to the adventure, reaching an important destination. When awarding XP, treat a major milestone as a hard encounter and a minor milestone as an easy encounter. I don't know what that means, but we'll come back to it. If you want to reward your players for their progress through an adventure with something more than XP and treasure, give them additional small rewards at milestone points. Here are some examples: the benefits of a short rest. This is stupid. I don't like this. Recover a hit die or low-level spell slot. Characters can regain the use of magic items. It's dumb. I hate that. Pretend that doesn't exist. I'm not even going to consider it. So what they're saying here is that the GM picks spots along the way, checkpoints, and says you get XP for these checkpoints. I'm turning those checkpoints over to the player in the form of goals. They set their own milestones because I don't care. I don't want to build a narrative they pass through. I want to let them set their goals. And if they set goals that are easy that they can do every single session, they're always going to be easy ones, right? It's not about how long it takes. It's about how much opposition there is in my mind. And I'm happy to adjust them if it turns out like, oh, this was actually really hard. I underestimated it when I gave it to you. I'm willing to bend and mess with that. But what the GM's guide, what the DMG doesn't tell me is, how do you interpret this passage, my friends? Help me with this. When awarding XP, treat a major milestone as a hard encounter and a minor milestone as an easy encounter. What does that mean? Like, I guess it's for the group, right? So like, let me here, hang on. Let me bust out my encounter generator. Let's look at Kobold Fight Club. Okay, so Kobold Fight Club, KFC. So I guess for us, like a single level 5 character, is this it? I mean, maybe it is. Does that mean that an easy goal should be 250 experience, a medium goal should be 500, hard should be 750, and deadly should be 1100? And then if you go to level 6, this goes up. Level 7, it goes up. I think that's it. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning. Okay, does that seem like it works? I kind of feel like maybe it does. Like it's low, but I think that's their intent. So like, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this. So, right, these are encounters. It's pretty low. We might need to double it or something. Cuz let's look at how long it takes to get from one level to another. So if I'm level 5, Jesus, I got to do fucking calculations here. I want it to be the same speed as D&D. If I'm, God, I hate math. If I'm level 5, let me see. I have 6,500 experience. I need 14,000 to get to the next level. Jesus, that would be like killing Mr. Titan 7 times. So maybe we double these? Like, I think a deadly encounter, I think if you do 2 deadly quests, you level. 2 or 3. So, but then it gets bigger and bigger as you go. Yeah. Let me see. What do we think? So this is the balance thing, right? How much should it be? 3 times. So the DM guide is like, it's got some fucked up ideas about how many encounters you should have between levels. Let me take a look. So they call them encounter days. Let's see if I can find that table in my notes. I don't think I have this necessarily anywhere. But the idea here is that, there we go. Thank you, contest. So 84. Right. Okay. So in assuming typical adventuring conditions and average luck, most adventuring parties handle about 6 to 8 medium or hard encounters in a day. 6 to 8 medium or hard encounters in a day. In the same way you figure out the difficulty of an encounter, you can use XP value of monsters in an adventure to guideline how the party is likely to progress. For each character in the party, use the adventuring day table to estimate how much XP they're expected to earn in a day. A 5th level character should earn 3,500 experience in a day. So you would level up in 2 days from 5th to 6th. Now this is any encounter. This isn't just like combat encounters. This is predominantly combat encounters, but it can be like, you don't have to fight all of these fights, right? So it's assuming a great deal and that you're like constantly doing stuff. But even so, like, generally you're supposed to take 2 short rests, 1/3 and 2/3 of the way through your day. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. So if we, I don't want to deviate too much from XP. I think I think 3 times might be sufficient, right? So let's look at that. If we do 3 times, because my hope is you would do 2 deadlies to level up just on their own, or like 5 or 6 hard, or like a ton of medium, right? Like 12 medium, or like 20 easy. So what did we say? 14,000. It was 7,500 to gain a level right now, right? 7,500. So that would mean, yeah, I think multiplying by 3 and then some adjustment by playtesting. So let's call it encounter times 3. And that'll be our thing. So achieving the goal means getting the XP. XP values are encounter times 3 in XP value. The thing is, you can't fight, right? Like, that's the thing, is like, unless you set your goal as, like, if you set your goal, I will kill 10 goblins, I'm gonna be like, fuck you, that's not the point of the goals. They're not mechanical. You have to have a reason to fight those goblins, in which case, fine. But I don't think that what we want is for them to play, I don't think what we want is for them to play that way. And I don't think the players want that. But if the system rewards or allows it, then I will adjust the system and I will talk to the players. Remember, I'm not designing a hack. I'm not designing a hack based on giving this to everybody to use in their game. I am adjusting my campaign. So it may not work for every group. Yeah, and I'm going to be, at least at first, I'm going to be workshopping these goals with everybody. And I'll be designing the quests. The reason why I want to do quests and goals is because I think it's fun and useful to have external sources too. And I want the party to have like a general goal. And I think maybe quests might be worth more. That might be a valuable thing. Right? Because a quest is based on the number of characters that participate in it. But it's divided by 4. So I feel like quests might have to be worth more. So I would love it if they did 1 deadly quest and everybody leveled up. Or like 1 deadly quest and then a couple of their own personal goals. So maybe I should multiply it by 5. Or something. Because they split it. But then maybe they don't need to split it. Maybe it's just like, if you complete a quest, everybody gets your level, like the normal stuff from your level. Yeah, maybe that makes more sense. I think that would be good. So the difficulty is adjusted, and the source is external. So maybe it's just worth more. Yeah. XP values. Let's just do it. Encounter difficulty times 4 in XP value. See how that does. And it does. Give it to him separately. Yeah. So they all get the same amount rather than splitting it. The split thing is silly. It's a it's a layover from the last thing, or a stayover, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, cool. So that's fine. Keeters, the reason I don't want to make it straight up percentage based is because then you get into like, I want it to be a solid number rather than like a percentage of your current goal. It'll go up kind of in a percentage way, but I don't want to calculate that in advance. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, so Cutie points up, if they don't split the XP, they could get an army and get the same amount of XP. Yes, but getting that army, wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be interesting? Get the money to pay the army, convince the army to join you. Like, that's awesome. That's a story. I want that. That's a great thing to tell, right? Way cool. I'm all about it. Yeah. Okay. So that could be a personal goal, right? So here's what I'm hoping. Here is what I am hoping. I'm hoping that the players will assign goals that are both things they want for themselves, but also things that are connected to each other and with the general quest. So while you might So here you go. Rally an army to fight the Necromancer King. That is a quest. That is a huge quest. Definitely deadly. Big deal. Hard to do. Defeating the Necromancer King. That's another deadly quest. But each player could have, I will convince the wizard lords of the Forgotten Swamp that they need to help us. Someone else might be like, I will call an assembly of the powers of heaven and convince them the Necromancer King is a blight, right? Like there are all of these other goals that they can use. So they're basically, I want them to double dip. I want them to have a goal that is also pushing towards their quest. And so the idea here is that they're looking at their goals as being a value of what they as players want. And then the other thing, the real thing that I want here ultimately is this is a flag, right? I think I'm not going to tell them the difficulty. They can figure it out by asking around. So the point for me as the GM is the players now have a method for telling me what they want in the game, right? They are flagging for me what they want in this campaign. So if all the players are like writing goals about overthrowing a certain noble lord, that'll be the focus of the game, right? I can't, my job now as GM is to make the game about their goals and quests. If they want to, they can connect them to each other. They can have shared goals. And if they don't want to do that, then they're going to have to convince each other, this is what we want to do, right? Come help me. And so what I'm hoping is that these things will invest the PCs or the players via their characters in the game itself. So that's my plan. I need more information from them. D&D is not helping me. And as people have pointed out, as audience members have pointed out, the game has basically been me yanking the players around by the nose, being like, here you go. This is your quest. Go and fucking do it. Okay, do another thing. Here's your quest. Do the thing. And so I will acknowledge that this could lead to a division in player levels, but I do not think it'll get to be 2 or 3 levels apart. That's crazy. Like, that would be, someone is doing nothing. And if I let them do nothing for so many sessions that they get 2 levels behind, I am failing them as a GM. And the other players are failing them too. We all need to be like, hey, let me help you write your goals so you can actually accomplish it in the game. It is all our responsibility. The other thing is that we want to have a situation in which combat is less incentivized. Combat is now not a good thing, right? If you get into a fight randomly, so let's say I'm like, okay, everything you're doing should be in the pursuit of your goals or your quests, and I'm like, cool. So you run into a bunch of guards, and they start pushing you around and being shitty to you, and like they have a court wizard with them, and like they're pretty tough looking, and you can tell that the guardsman has a magic sword. What are you going to do? For them, fighting these guards will not get them experience points. They might get a magic sword. They might push the guards out of the way to get at their goal. But if they get in this fight, they are risking their lives in exchange for potentially nothing, right? Yeah, they get no XP for fighting. Unless the fight directly moves you towards your goal or achieves that goal, why are you fighting, right? You'll get no experience for it. And it frees me up because now I don't have to care if combat is balanced or not. Now remember, combat is still going to be a part of the game. Remember, these characters are still a big old box of knives, right? When they want to solve their problems, they have swords and fireball spells and Dungeons and Dragons character shit. They're still violent individuals. So they will still attempt to solve many of their problems and achieve many of their goals through violence. I am not trying to change that. I do not want to change the fundamental nature of the characters. Writing goals that they can accomplish means getting better at fighting. Like, that's just how XP works. I mean, I don't use random encounter tables, really. Like, if they run into combat or potential combat, they do so because the world is full of violent things, and they are also violent things. So if they fight, I hope they're fighting for something, but if not, they won't get a reward just for fighting. And the reason that this is important is because I want to de-incentivize the fight for no reason thing. I want to de-incentivize the like, well, maybe we should fight these guys because even though there's no reason to, I bet you will win, and I only need 200 experience to level up. Let's fight them. And I'm like, why? And you're like, XP though. So, yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad about fighting. Fighting is okay. I still want fight. I like fight. I like fight, but I want fight to be for reason. Fight for things you believe in. Be like mice. Yeah. So that is my intent, right? I think that it will create characters with better investment in the world, and it will give us some more opportunity to expand. And for me, I no longer have to be like, all right, is this a medium fight or a deadly fight or a whatever? I am throwing CR out the window. I no longer care. I no longer care about you, CR. I am breaking up with you. Let's be real. Challenge rating. It wasn't working between us. I love you, but I've chosen darkness. So I'm gonna boot CR to the wind, and now I am creating. I'm not creating encounters at all. Fuck encounters. Get away from me. I don't want to think in encounters anymore. I want to think in scenes. So bon voyage. Smell you later, CR. Now, if you were going to go and take on a wizard, I don't care. And the game was leaning this way already, right? CR was already broken. We were in this awful, abusive relationship where CR was trying to get me to be the way that way they wanted me to be, and I was trying to be my own man. So now, fuck it. Combat will be as deadly as it is. I will use my own sense of the narrative to build encounters, and the players will deal with the ramifications of their choosing to get in fights if they get in fights. That's on them now. Bon voyage, CR. The end. So yeah. For today's session, you know, I'm gonna review all of this with the players. We're gonna go over their goals. Let me see if I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna take a look in Roll20. I'm gonna see if JP and Zeke have put their goals in. I gotta get some goals from Berg, but I want to see. Got the hiccups. I want to see what these folks have got set up for their goals, and we can talk about them. Because part of my job now is going to be helping them make goals that make sense. All right, so let's see here. Aha. All right, so Saliha Fasunu, our turtle wizard, born under the sign of air, is going to, and I guess I can just show you. I can show you Quarter Swords. Is going to set goals. So, Salihafa, I wish to find an artifact that can teach me about the creators and caretakers of this plane. Totally. That's a good goal. I like that. I like that total goal. It's a totally good goal, right? Seeking an artifact for the purpose of learning about the world. I wish to learn why Berg is so important to the powers that be. Fucking awesome. A belief about your past, a belief about another character, and then a third one. How does the soulless one exist? Right? This is Ramus, right? A belief about another character. These are great. I love these. These are fantastic, right? They're very internally like party driven, which is fine, and the quest can be externally driven and will keep Sally Hoffa moving forward outside of that. So this is JP's character, Sally Hoffa. These are easy. All I have to do is come up with what this is and then let Sally Hoffa chase it down. Good in one. Let's take a look at Kalimat. Kalimat is Zeke's new character. I'm not sure if he has mentioned... Yeah, here we go. Here's his goals. Kalimat's goals are get Sally Hoffa to sing, smile, laugh, or show love for life. God, that's so good. That's so good, right? Like, these two are traveling companions, and so Zeke has just written a belief that's like, I'm going to make my friend laugh. That it's important to me. I want that. So that's cute. I like it.
Welcome to the Math Squad.
Thank you, Immovable Cod. Share a story from my people with someone who hasn't heard it. Should be easy, but that's a scene, right? Find someone who doesn't know where you're from and then share something about yourself with them. And then try something new, exciting, and different every day. These are all easy goals, right? But I bet you that Zeke could hit these every single session. Right? Every session. Because this would mean, according to the Fight Club, that at level 5, 250 times 3. Yeah, Zeke's going to get 750 experience every session if he just hits all 3 of these flags. Yeah, so good work, Zeke. And that's it. These are all 6 of these are good goals. And if they have an overarching quest, like a quest log, which actually I should give them now. Let me add a handout. Quest log, all players, can be edited by all players. Description and notes. Okay, so I guess I don't have an icon for their quest log. But the idea here is that this is a space where the PC's players can record their shared goals. And that's it. So they can fill in their description and notes, and they can fill in these goals, and that's cool. So that's a thing they can do. Why did that not? Oh, I didn't save it. Okay. All players, save changes. There we go. All right, so there we go. They have their quest log. So this is where they'll be able to record those quests. I need like a scroll or a exclamation mark or something. Yeah, I'll find a good one. We'll find something cool for that. Big old gold exclamation mark. Yeah. So that's the thing. And like this for me is going to take some of the difficulty off of my shoulders and create some additional difficulty. So what this will make easier for me as a game master is that now the players will be able to generate some of their goals, and I will not have to constantly try to push them to do certain things. Right? I'm not going to have to be like, okay, some guys jump out to fight you. Like, keep moving. It's on them to push for their goals. So I'm free of having to motivate them, or I will be eventually, right? Hopefully. It's going to allow me to focus on game master stuff, but it's also going to make me more, I have to be more willing and able to jump in and create things on the fly, right? You can change your goals. At the beginning of every session. I should make a note of that. Goals can be changed or abandoned changed at the start of the session or abandoned at any time. So you have to write your goals at the beginning of a session. You can't do it part way through. So that's a thing. That's important. So they'll set their goals at the beginning, and then I might have to be like, oh, okay, so this is what you're doing today. But thankfully, we're playing, and again, I'm writing this hack for my group. We're playing in Roll20. I have access to all of the maps and tokens in Roll20. I have the monster manual. I can throw together encounters pretty fucking fast. Like I'm getting good at it. Yeah. It also means that everything that they do should matter now, right? Like, if you want to defeat the Necromancer King, you better get yourself a magic sword. Now the magic sword not only is a magic sword that you want to do a thing, but also a magic sword that has a purpose, that has a meaning in the game. Someone owns it. It's hidden in someone's lair. Adventure, 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 adventure in every fucking direction.
You have returned.
So that is my new plan for Court of Swords. I'm really excited to try it out and to get to play the game and to maybe see it do some different stuff. I want my players and my characters to feel like they are a part of the world and that they can affect it and impact it. And I want to feel more like I can focus on my game master stuff. So let me add a new item here. So to do. Yes, Sheen's got it. So Sheen, discover the history of the Apology of Emperor Fei. Where is this hammer from? What does it do? Can I unlock further power? What is it about? Like, there are going to be things where people will make goals for stuff that I had not thought of that I will be like, bam, that's canon now, right? Like, I would like to unlock the true power of the Apology of Emperor Fei. And I'm like, oh, obviously its true power hasn't been unlocked yet. Obviously. Of course. Yes. Let's make that a deadly goal. Rock and roll, do it. It frees us up from the like grind, fight, rest, level up, fight, die, start a new character, re-roll, get bored of the game, right? Like building this stuff. Now, it also creates a sense of interaction in the party. I feel like I have to lean in. So this is the thing about inter-character goals. So the cheating in this system would be to create a medium or hard or deadly, actually any goal. Create a goal with another player where they're the ones that get to say, you did it, good job. There needs to be mechanisms in the game that step in. You have to at the very least, make a roll. If you do not make a roll, it is not a goal. Okay? Rolls for goals. I'm writing that down. It's going in my rolls for goals, motherfucker. Okay, so if you don't make a roll, it is not a goal because you have to engage the system in some way. Because otherwise, JP could just be like, oh, you have a goal that you have to make me laugh? Ha 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 ha. Good, you did it. 250 experience, right? Also, if you resolve a goal, I guess this is important too. If a goal is resolved in the session, you don't just get to write a new one. Only new goals at the start of a session. Only new goals at the start of a session. Only new goals start of the session. Okay? So make JP's character laugh will only ever net you 250 experience right now. So that's how that goes.
You have returned.
You can't just like grind this same goal over and over and over. Zachatron, welcome back. Okay, so to do, rethink inspiration. Awarding advantage charge for that sweet RP. Because inspiration is there to inspire you to play your character. And I'm going to probably steal more Burning Wheel stuff or whatever for this, where it's like, if you get in trouble or complicate your life. What's up, Nookie? Nookie? En français. If you maybe we'll do it like a complication thing where it's like, if you have a goal, a trait or something. We could, I don't want to do it too hard, but basically like come up with 3 things that describe your character, 3 traits. And if you use your trait in a way that complicates your character's life, basically I want them to be doing things now where it's like you take a complicating action now in exchange for success later. Basically, I things get fucked up now, but later I'm going to have that advantage charge. So let's say something like traits in Torchbearer or Mouse Guard. Use them against yourself to charge inspo. Use inspo later to get advantage. Right. And then I also need to rethink Bond's tarot mechanisms vis-a-vis how they award advantage on rolls or whatever. How does fate award you for playing along with its plans? Something like that. Yeah. Now remember, they never got inspiration for following their bonds. Never. That was never how it worked. It was your bonds would tell you, the bonds would tell you what to do, and if you did that, the action you were taking to do that had advantage. Which is maybe why it was too complicated. Yeah. So there's that. Okay. So rethink inspiration. I need to rethink bonds and tarot mechanisms. And then GM stuff, right? I would love to formalize and collect collect the fronts, countdown clocks, whatever you want to call it. So I just need to do that. I need to settle in and figure out what my overarching shit is, and go from there. And basically, I'm just doing what I always do subconsciously. But I need to go back and like revisit the fronts that matter to the current game, and then also my world. So I'm dungeon worlding this, right? So we have campaign fronts and we have adventure fronts. And the adventure fronts are like today, tomorrow, this week, shit that is happening now. And then campaign fronts are like Necromancer King, Shulin Valley, big stuff. And this is just to keep the world moving. This is my GM turn or whatever. Yeah. So that's that. I would love to prep more for the session. I'd love to prep more for today's session of Court of Swords, but I don't know if there's any prep to be done. Like, I guess I could come up with some encounters. I could come up with but it's still just like suddenly guys with knives, right? Like I kind of just want to RP. I just kind of want to like fuck around and like get the characters introduce some NPCs that know them. I want to find out what Berg has been up to, because if we remember, you know what? Here, let me set up a new doc. Let me set up a new doc, and then we're gonna talk about what's going on in the game right now. You can try to help me remember, because what I'd like to do is just have an understanding of what's kind of currently happening. If there's any threads that I might be like missing. All right, so fronts in Court of Swords. Okay. Okay, so current fronts. There is something. No, Ariel, get out of here. There we go. Something is wrong in heaven. So like, this is one that was only very loosely hinted at. Some kind of civil dispute, shift in heavenly politics. Basically, something is happening in heaven, right? And this we only caught just the end of, when our quest giver NPC was like, "Look, you're on vacation. I gotta go." Yes, we have Inanna. I think that's how I spelled her name. Let me see. Maybe not. What was her name? She was like, God, she's got the same name as the like sex goddess in Wicked and the Divine. That's who I named her after, but I can't remember now because my brain is a fucking sieve. Let's see. What was her name? Nana. I totally can't remember. I'll figure it out. Inanna. Thank you, Aiden. You're the best. Her name is Inanna, and okay, so her deal, she knows a bunch about the PCs, and is particularly interested in them, which isn't good. You do not want a wizard. So I need another name. I need another name for like. So there's wizards in the game, and there's wizards that you can be like in D&D, and then there's like ancient, powerful, like ridiculous demigod style wizards. I need another name for them, like Magus or something. But yeah, they have another thing where they're above and beyond. Archon, something like that. Yeah. But I want it to fit. Yeah, they want it to fit the setting. So what's like a name? What's a name for, like South? Let's like Thai. The Thai name for like wizard. Let's see. Translate English to Thai. Wizard. Oh God, there aren't even any vowels in this word.
พ่อมด
I am never going to be able to pronounce that correctly. Yeah, I like Archon. Let's see if they have what is sorcerer? Is that a word I can pronounce?
หมอผี
I'm gonna mess these up. Yeah, Magi is pretty good. Ooh, Sahir is sorcerer. That's pretty good. And actually, that's true. I should be looking at like Arabic or Sanskrit or yeah. Sahir. I like that, Venkwal. Let's see. Sahir is Hindi, which is useful. That one's good. Charming, enchanted. It's a name. One who stays up late at night. Oh, that's cool. Sanskrit's good too. But anyway, there's a name for this. But yeah, Archon means like ruler or something in Greek. It is maybe a little bit Greek. But let's call it Magus for now. I think I'm just gonna go with Magus because that's the simplest one. And they all call themselves something different. She probably calls herself a god. So she's a front, right? Because she is connected to she'll call herself the Sahir. She is connected to Berg. She's interested in Berg because Berg is a connection. She understands things about the world that no one else does or that only other wizards might. She can see that he has a shard of something invisible to her senses, right? He has this broken off piece of elf spirit in him that cannot be touched. So that's important. And then Ramus should not be alive, right? We talked about this. The thing that happened with Ramus, let me hit you with some like explicit canon about Ramus, okay? Oh my God, Berg is Talion. Oh no, he is. Oh no. Berg, an elf would have hit that guy, Berg. Oh God, that's so funny. Okay, so let me lay down the canon about Ramus. Ramus Krill is a piece of shit. He's not a good person. But even pieces of shit can worship the gods, and he was brought up to worship the sun, and he did so. And the sun did shine from out his buttocks. Until he met an ill fate deep underground. When he died, his crusty soul crusty, cranky, self-important soul got bundled up and carried up to heaven. The divine functionaries of heaven found his crappy soul, jammed it into a soul jar, and put it in the assembly line to be assessed by the assessor, the surveyor of souls. The surveyor of souls, mighty God that he is, was given a bribe. He was given a bribe by a servant of the tower named Hazan to accidentally misplace the soul of Ramus Krill. So Ramus's soul was dropped and rolled under a shelf somewhere to collect dust. In the meantime, Hazan, using his magic, because I think Hazan is probably related to like Inanna and the other like Sahir, the other Maguses, right? I think that's probably the closest thing to what Hazan actually is. But Hazan was like, yo, I have use for this body. And so made a copy of Ramus's personality, copied bits and pieces that were useful to him about Ramus, and then gemmed this thing, this fake Ramus, into Ramus's body. There are now two Ramuses. One, the true soul of Ramus, whose purpose is to be assessed, weighed, surveyed, and then fucking probably reincarnated as a pig. However, there is now this false Ramus, this puppet, walking Ramus's body around, who is exempt. There is no soul. He cannot accumulate karma, but he also cannot become enlightened. He is a tool of the tower. So, I think here there's another thing at play here. There's another front. So like Berg's soul passenger the remnants of a spirit of the Farang has become attached to Berg. Soul parasite. I don't know. I guess soulless Ramus, right? Because he's slowly disintegrating. We figured that out. He is disintegrating slowly and is technically a walking blasphemy. So, okay. Let's say the city must burn. Right? For whatever reason, the powers, the church,
illustrious champion returns. Welcome home.
servants of the tower, believe that the city of brass, cradle of human glory, must be destroyed. That is like a thing for sure. Kelox, welcome back. Thank you. It began with the burning of the House of the Falcon. It will continue. Yes, the whole thing. Something deeply wrong is happening in the city of Brass, and the servants of the tower have decided, or been given visions, or whatever. They've been given visions. They're like, it's time. It's time for the city to be destroyed. Yeah, and then sub goals here are like, or sub fronts are, I think the lycanthrope on the loose is resolved. I think he fled the city. He's not gonna fuck around anymore. But yes, the people, I guess we'll be specific. The halfling labor movement. After not only suffering at the hands of their human overlords, but a spate of serial killings in their community, the halflings of the City of Brass are ready to revolt. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, right? It's time for revolution. Hi Josa, welcome to the squad. Thank you. Time for them to rise up against their human overlords. So this is a thing. It's building, right? It's reaching its. I think it's good because we're going from like the biggest to the smallest. So I think these are all adventure fronts, right? So let's see. Heading 1, adventure fronts. And then heading 2 is like the larger like campaign fronts. So like the campaign stuff is maybe this one, I think actually. Something's wrong in heaven. Heavenly Civil War or whatever. And then also the Necromancer King, the fall of the Court of Swords. This one is messy. Like if the Court of Swords falls, the Court of Coins is next. This is like the Kingdom of the Mara, right? This is some extremely fucked up shit. As the result of a few farms falling, a cascading problem may lead to a literal hell on earth as the Mara kings rise to take on heaven directly. Like this is bad. This is very fucking bad. And it's slowly building up over time. And it may never reach the PCs, right? They may be able to stay somewhere else and deal with these problems. Oh, and the other thing, here's the other thing. The elves, yes. The Farang. Mysterious outsiders who have found the world and are attempting, bit by bit, to colonize it. So there you go. How aware are the other courts of the situation, the Court of Swords? The Court of Swords has always had the strongest military of us all. I'm sure they can handle a little peasant uprising. Oh, they say it's the Mara, do they? Well, I'm sure they're just exaggerating. What has the Court of Swords ever done for us? When we asked them for aid against those hobgoblins, they said they couldn't intervene. So yeah, these are the 3 big ones in the campaign, right? The problem is that the courts they don't like each other. They have agreed not to fight, but they are not friends. They're not friends. Yeah. So that's the jam. So this for me, like I will probably connect all of my quests that I give the players to these fronts, right? These ones and these ones. So I will use them to give them opportunities to pursue these adventure fronts, right? To say, okay, so the Sahira Nana wants you to do something, and in exchange she'll tell you some stuff. Or like there are crowds of halfling labor rioters that are burning parts of the city. You know, go and talk to them. Like there's all kinds of. Oh, that's right. Yes, thank you, Vire. The rise of the Snake Kingdom. The resurgence of the serpent. So the dark snake god. I'm putting god because it's just a super powerful entity. The dark snake god has been awakened in the southern jungles of the Court of Coins. He hungers. All right, there you go. Perfect. The gnomes are not a front. Fronts are like fronts in a war. The players don't have to fight the gnomes. The gnomes could very easily be like friends.
You have returned.
Hello, Smurfs. That's right. You could say the worm has turned. Yes, Sheen, you got it. So this dark snake god, this serpent god, is just an ancient spirit who missed out on the ascension to heaven. He probably could have become part of the celestial bureaucracy, right? Like a god of darkness, because there is one, but he is stuck on earth. He's a terrestrial god. He is a power that belongs in heaven, but is on earth. And that is not good. That is not good for anybody. Yeah. So the vampire stuff is tied in to the city must burn. It's tied in a little bit to something wrong being in heaven. We talked a little bit about how vampires are basically like the worst blasphemy. I guess we could put a very distant campaign front. No, go away. A very distant campaign front could be the Mara versus the Fountain. It's the ultimate knockdown, drag out battle royale of the universe. Who will win? Eternal light and enlightenment. Fuck. Or the powers of darkness. So the point here is that, like, on the one hand, the Fountain wants everyone to disintegrate into its glorious light, to reconsume the universe and eat up the world and become pure and perfect. All enlightenment. The Mara want something else, to poison the Fountain, to stop making people disappear into the Fountain's glorious light, and they hate them. And they have lots of different ways to get at it. The Farang, when they learn that the Fountain is this ultimate perfect source of power, you know they're going to try to steal that shit, right? So I guess when the Farang realize this, when they know what's going on, they're going to maybe want to, like, fight the Mara to help people enlighten themselves, to power the Fountain, and then fucking shackle it. Or the Farang will invade heaven, kill the bureaucracy, shackle the Fountain, and then turn the process of reincarnation into their divine engine so they can continue their horrible civil war against each other. Damn. Campaign stuff. What a mess. So that's where the universe is at. I could tell you where we're not. The universe. Yes, I mean, if the Fountain gets its way, the Mara will have to be destroyed first, because the Mara tempt people away from enlightenment. The elves don't call themselves the Farang. Farang is a Vietnamese word meaning like foreigner or outsider, and so that's what they know themselves to be. Yeah, cool. So that's that. I think I'm ready to go. I think I've got some general stuff. We're gonna kind of play the session by ear. I will figure out kind of what I want to do with the various quests and stuff to hand out. But that's pretty much the jam. Thanks for coming, everybody, and helping me have a space to talk this out. I hope you're excited. We're playing Court of Swords in about 2 hours, an hour and a bit. We're starting at 3 Pacific, right? Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go eat something, and hopefully I will see you for Court of Swords, or else I'll see you in the VODs. Thanks for coming, everybody. Bye.